Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chapter 9. In Chapter 9, in this section, we're going to talk about reading and writing and also understanding language just a little bit more. So let's hop right into it and let's get into reading. In the last lecture slides, I gave you ideas of how different ways that children can get their early literacy experiences with reading. But this time specifically, we're going to look at how children can learn to read from caregivers. So there are two main approaches in according to how allowing children to read. So the first is the phonics approach. And the phonics approach, that's actually how I learned how to read. My dad actually bought some books and taught me how to use the phonics and small words, basic rules of English, and he helped me to read using the phonics approach. So the reading material that my dad used with me was simplified. There is Sam. Sam, I am. Reading material is very simplified. That's using the phonics approach. But if you don't want to use the phonics approach, you can also use the whole language approach. And the whole language approach is really just reading to children, and the reading is different. The reading is whole and meaningful. So you may read books about dinosaurs, but the reading is not simplified. So that means that the parent is doing the reading to the child, and that the people that believe in the whole language approach, they believe that children will eventually, as they continue to be read to, that eventually they'll learn how to read and learn different words. So it's two different approaches. Both of them work. It really just depends on your preference. And in this next video, we're going to actually watch a little bit of how parents can use the phonics approach to teach children.
How to teach kids phonics. Phonics is an effective way of teaching kids how to read, decode, and eventually write English words. A number of moms are more than willing to learn how to teach kids phonics. Usually, kids between 3 and 4 years old will already attempt to identify easy words little by little. Note, however, that the art of teaching phonics is designed not only for younger kids, but also for bigger ones. It is true that there are still boys and girls who cannot completely read, speak, and write words because they were never introduced to phonics. Today, phonics is widely used in teaching young children on how to associate a given letter or set of letters to the corresponding sound they represent. Let us find out more on how to apply phonics. 1. Start with the short vowel A initially. You will make use of the vowel A by adding 2 to 3 consonants onto it, such as L, M, N, P, or T. Therefore, forming simple words like lap, mat, nap, pad, or tan. At this stage, you should avoid combining 2 consonants right before the letter A, such as snap, because the result is a complex sound that may be harder for your child to absorb. 2. The beginning letters and words may be repeated in a day or two. Each time you teach phonics, you can gradually add another vowel to the words already familiar to your kid. Avoid combining 2 or 3 sounds in one day so as not to confuse the receptiveness of your child.
So that the main point of that is that you're using consonants, you're using vowel letters, and you're making short letters that have short sounds that are easy for the children to mimic, and ultimately they may be easier for the child to learn. But again, the preference is up to you. Along with reading, children also begin to write at an early age. And so there's something called emergent writing. And emergent writing actually begins when children even begin to be able to pick up some kind of tool such as a pen or pencil or a crayon, and are able to use it other than drawing. So as you can see, around 2 to 3 years of age, children may write a lot of scribbles because they're not really able to really form letters at this time, and also they may just not be able to read. So initially those scribbles will turn into letters, but the letters may represent something that is not written on the paper. So for example, you have these letters, and the child tells you that they wrote, "I went swimming." Obviously, that's not what they wrote, but that's what it represents. And then eventually they will begin to be able to form letters and sentences. And so we have this emergent writing that starts at around 2 to 3 years of age, and then eventually ends with children being able to write paragraphs. And so that was more so with early childhood. And so we're going to go into middle and late childhood. Again, children are beginning to learn again more words, and are able to begin to write and be able to advance their writing skills. And during this time, middle and late childhood, children are able to use language to talk about things that are not actually there. Think about how this coincides with the cognitive development in object permanence. Object permanence, they're able to understand that an object or someone is still around, is still alive, even though they are not able to see them. And so after they understand and have this object permanence, of course, now they're able to use language to talk about things that are not physically present. And again, children's vocabulary is just exploding at around 6 years. They're able to learn about 14,000 words. They have learned about 14,000 words. And by the time they turn 11 years old, they have learned about 40,000 words. So exposing children to reading, to allowing them to write, exposing them to language, spoken, and even nonverbal languages is very important. In the next lecture slides, we're going to talk about nature versus nurture in regards to language. So I'll see you all on the next video.